All right, I got to tell you, I've played Football Manager for a couple of years now, and what I can say is that this season with Mars FC has been one of the most remarkable seasons I've ever seen. I mean, you go over here, take a look at this in our competitions. We have already won the league again, second year running, and we are probably about to win the AFC Cup. We play against Casa de Portugal. I don't really see that team from Macau beating us. I think that we will end up defeating them in this match. And as long as April 25th don't beat Kanoa by 5 points or by 5 goals or more, and we win by a reasonable margin, we're going to win this league, and we're going to move on to the what would it be, the East Asia final of the AFC Cup, which is where you get money. I mean, we want money, right? We need money. We don't have money. So getting some money in here would be pretty nice, make the board happy with me. But it's been pretty remarkable, right? When we came in, it was a season and a half ago. Mars FC was down in 8th position, and we were about to be relegated. We had about, 6 matches left, 5 or 6, maybe it was 5. And we didn't lose. We either won or drew the rest of the way out, and we only advanced as high as 7th. And we had to win the 2-match playoff against the team that was coming up in the lower level. We went from that to this position very, very quickly. And you kind of wonder, okay, so, what's happened? What's caused this? As much as I'd like to say it's because I'm a Football Manager genius, it's not really true. I mean, the thing that happened is that we got players that were useful and helpful. But the real thing that happened is we went to this strikerless formation, right? And I mean, that's really what the key has been. The key has been playing strikerless. The key has been playing with no striker, and has been focusing on trying to open up that position for us, right? So I'll tell you here a little bit about how, now that I've seen this formation numerous times, I think I can tell you a thing or two about how it actually works, right? So the defense here is the same as always. I've talked before about our defense's setup and how strong it is. I like this 3 at the back setup. It's unorthodox, I know, but I'm seeing more and more sort of strong tactics that people make and people share that are based around this 3 at the back mentality and idea. It tends to work well as long as you have a sweeper keeper, and I would say as long as you're okay with having sort of like a high press. When you take a look at what we do here, our defensive line is actually back to standard. Earlier, we had it up a little bit more to give the keeper a little bit more room. Now, we do have it back down to standard, but it hasn't really hurt us that much. We haven't given up a whole bunch of goals from Leibolin. Leibolin, by the way, was not the best keeper at the club. As you'll remember, we had Lee Chaba, who was the other foreigner, who was much better, and we finally got rid of him, especially after he gave up 5 goals to Hangyuan, the team we were playing tomorrow. And so, it was a little bit of a challenge and a little bit of a trick to see if this guy, who's 28 now, to see if he would be good enough to be our starting keeper. And he definitely has been. In fact, he has been excellent this season. He's had his best season, 6.93 average rating, 8 appearances. I think that's all in the league, I believe, and 7 conceded. 5 in the league, and then he's also had a couple of these continental appearances as well, 5, and then has conceded only twice in continental performance, which is impressive, right? The way that this works, and the reason why it works, I know I've said this before, but it's because we have these 2 wing backs, right? I think that if these guys were way up here, this wouldn't work quite as well. Having these guys back on the wing, Feng Xiaoqi and Menogong, means that they can come back from time to time. In fact, Menogong is probably the best defensive player in Taiwan, one of the best defensive players playing, I think, in all of Asia right now. He's doing an incredible job at getting back, and when he is on the pitch, we definitely can tell the difference. This guy is fire, and he's only 21, and hopefully we'll be able to hold on to him in the long term. Feng Xiaoqi probably not quite as good. We're still looking for a better long-term solution there on that side. Everybody else in this tactic is attacking, right? You look at it and you think it's strikerless, and okay, we're going to play a little bit further back, and maybe we don't have the aggressive attack. That's not true. We have a major attack from all 3 of these players, each of whom can work their way up into the box, and each of whom has a way of getting open. The favorite thing that all of these players has to do is to get the ball maybe right down around here, and to look for some sort of incisive pass and to catch the defense standing off guard. I've talked about this before, but what happens a lot with opposing defenses is they're expecting a striker, and when they see that there is no striker and that these players are playing kind of back here, they don't know what to do. They don't know if they need to come down here, because if they come down, one of these guys will pass it in and the other guy will make a run and get a wide open shot. And if they stay back here, then these guys have all sorts of space here to work with, and they get shots from all over the place over here. Now, the thing that complicates this is the fact that we have not 1 but 2 segundo volantes who will come in late to the box and play sort of usually a little bit behind these guys, and are also looking to make runs inside. Again, you would think that like this would really hurt us in midfield and that we'd have a lot of problems trying to, maintain some sort of midfield dominance, but that just hasn't been the case, right? I was convinced, if you remember how we played earlier this season, that we needed to have at least one of these guys playing defensive. But for whatever reason, if it's, a glitch or if it is a tactic, if we're taking advantage of, the way that Football Manager is constructed or whatever it is, this type of setup apparently works extremely well. We've dominated possession and we've really, really dominated it. Balanced mentality is what we played at. It's less than the positive we had before. And we have shorter passing. We don't pass too much. We do pass from time to time into space, which is what they call as we thread the needle. And we also have a little bit of overlap and stuff like that. We play with a high tempo, but we also don't exactly try to rush things too much. And that's the thing that's very, very nice about this. We end up in the end holding the ball usually for long periods of time and kind of wear out the opponent, wear out the defense. So again, if you look back at that match that we just played, the 1-1 draw with April 25th, we really should have won this match. I won't show you the highlights because there's not really too much else to see. But when we look over here, say at the analytics, or if we look at the player statistics, we had overall a much better match than they did, right? And the one goal that we conceded was kind of a fluke score. You see Ling Guanda here. I know this is hard to see because it's all too small. Ling Guanda here had a 6.3 rating. The reason why is because he had a number of sitters. He really should have won the match for us, right? If he had better aim, he would have scored probably 2 additional goals. We would have been up 3-1. It would have been a piece of cake, and we'd have the group basically won. As it stands, unfortunately, we didn't win it quite necessarily that well. We had to draw instead. But when you look at the XG, look at this, right? Right around this part, I don't know how many minutes into it is, all of a sudden our XG just goes skyrocketing up because we're getting all of these shots up close that are on target, right? You can see that right here. The one goal that was scored was Tsai Yuting, who shot one from point blank range. We're looking here, there's Ling Guanda, who shot a very, very good goal, a very good shot that was saved, and Dai shooting from there. And over here on this side, you see Silla, you see Bamba, you see Silla, you see Nene. You see all of these guys with all sorts of different shots here up close and in the area. So that's basically what we've done. We had the ball for huge stretches of time in their zone. We had an absolutely incredible performance from Tsai Yuting. I mean, it was just an amazing, amazing match, I would say, by us. So there you go. That's kind of what it was like in that last match and the reason why we were so dominant. I mean, you just look at this and you can tell, because we're here on the left side, you can tell the difference, right? They have a hard time getting the ball anywhere close to the box, despite the fact that we only have 3 guys in the back. Meanwhile, we had all sorts of shots from close range. Right. And that's basically what it's been like. And that's what the difference has been. That is mostly the tactic, right? I want to say, oh, well, it must be because, we have this good player, that good player, whatever. I mean, I know that the game doesn't adjust for this, but we went into North Korea in front of a larger audience than we have ever played in front of before. I mean, at any point in time, look at this. This is all 500, 300, maybe 800 was big, or 1,000 against Guam Shipyard, right? Remember that one? I mean, we had 12 or almost 1,300 at home against April 25th. But in this one, we play in front of 11,000 people, and we come out of it with the draw, and we come out of it looking very good. All we need is one good win, maybe a little bit of luck if April 25th stumble or do something silly, and we're in. And then we have another big match to play in. So there you go. I mean, we can say, you can say, well, it must be because we have so many African players and these guys who are really good and stuff. I think it's the tactic. I really do think that it's the tactic that's helped push us above and up on top. So we'll see what happens as we continue. But I am very much thinking that I might try to go strikerless from here on out, because strikerless is the way to go. I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Got another big match, final match of the season in the league. See you then. Bye.